Santiago, Chile. Here, where the city beats between a wall of concrete and a wall of memory, goes a place that does not forget, the Museum of Memory and Human Rights. On its walls, the past is not tranquil. It speaks, it screams, it demands to speak up. Chile, September 11, 1973. A coup d'etat put an end to the democratically elected government of Salvador Allende. A dictatorship began that will reign for 17 years. Thousands of people were persecuted: opponents, students, workers. Clandestine detention centers and torture centers acted in the shadows. For many, their punishment was disappearance. Others, like this museum, are always there to see that they are not forgotten.
There were profound social changes in Chile in the 1960s and 70s. Chile was sometimes polarized and divided. On one side, working class sector demanded sweeping and deep reforms. On the other side, the elite feared losing their privileges. In the 1970s, Salvador Allende made history as the first ever Marxist president to assume public office through the democratic election system. His administration was responsible for nationalization of copper, agrarian reform, and the elaboration of a socialist-driven economic model. But along with this progress came this business, inflation, political disputes, and the economic boycott by business sector and the U.S. government, and more contribute to the eventual destabilization of the country.
The memory of that terrible event is not only alive by way of documents, it lives here, inside these walls, in every image, in each name, in every absence.
We are here with Mr. Ricardo Velasco, a socialist militant since his youth, a political prisoner and survivor of Villa Grimaldi. He has now agreed to tell his testimonies. So, Mr. Ricardo, what do you remember about that day of September 11 in 1973?
I was 20 years old. I was at the Universidad Técnica del Estado studying engineering. I remember there were no classes that day. We started hearing rumors. Then the radio station stopped broadcasting. At 11 he heard Allende's last speech. It was like listening to a real-time funeral. Then the raids, the rumors, the backlashes, and the fear became habit.
When were you detained?
A month later, we were helping burn books, pamphlets. They put me in the Ford Falcon, put a bag on my head, and took me to Villa Grimaldi. They interrogated me for days. They did torture you with electricity, but sometimes the worst torture was not even physical, but hearing others. You had no idea if it was day or night. We sleep on the floor with our head covered. You heard as the screams. Some, I have to say, will never leave my head. They tortured me, beat me.
Do you think justice has been served in Chile?
At some point, yes. Some have been imprisoned, yes. But there are hundreds of people that never appeared again, without a grave and justice without a truth. Like a body without a soul. And this country always a lot of souls.
Why do you choose to speak today?
I think that as long as you the young people listen to who didn't have a voice will be able to speak through used to keep their memories alive. I want this generation to know that it was a project of extermination, an assault on truth, on dignity. I am not special. I was just lucky, but for those who didn't not come back, telling my story is the only thing I can do for them, so everyone is able to remember them too.
For 17 years, Chile suffered huge human rights violations under military dictatorship. According to the 1991 Redick report, 3,197 people were killed or disappeared at the hands of agents of the state. The Balich report, published in 2004, reported more than 28,000 victims of political imprisonment and torture in Chile, including minors at the time of arrest and detention. More than 200 clandestine detention centers were operating in the country, where electric torture, sexual violence, extreme isolation, and extrajudicial executions were typical. Millions of families were left unanswered. As of today, more than 1,000 people are still missing and have not been found. The wound is still open. Memory is justice.
Walking through this place also means comforting what many try to erase. This is not only about numbers, not about dates, it's about lives. It's about absence that still hurt. The dictatorships not only torture bodies, it structure families, destroy trust, and it instills fear as a form of rolling. To remember is not linger in the past, it's a form of resisting forgetting and of protecting human dignity so that it never, ever happen again.